The price for condo apartments here in Calgary, Alberta has absolutely exploded over the last 12 months, and there's really no slowdown in sight when it comes to price point. My name's Adam Fyfe, your Calgary Realtor. If you're looking at buying, selling, or investing in 2023, it is very important to get this information now and plan ahead. I don't think 2024 is going to see a slowdown. If anything, it's going to see a pick up, in my personal opinion. But let's dive into the report and talk about what's going on in this market. Now, apartments in Calgary have reached $320,000. That is the benchmark attribute for the entire city. It's up $3,500 from last month and up $43,000 from 2022, an 18% increase in 12 months. Now, very important to realize that the attributes for this price is a 2-bed, 2-bath, 905 square foot. It has underground parking stall, and it was built in 2005. So that is the benchmark attribute for the entire city. That changes for every single quadrant. So if you're looking in different areas, you want to make sure that you have a general understanding of what that would actually get you so you can start to negotiate favorable terms. Now, I'm going to read what the Calgary Real Estate Board has written about the condo apartment market. If you want to read it on your own, pause the video, skip to the next chapter, or listen to my storytelling. Thanks to the relative affordability of apartment-style homes, sales continue to reach record highs in November, contributing to a year-to-date sales of 7,487. With 1 month left in the year, sales have already surpassed last year's record highs. Crazy stuff. This in part was possible thanks to the growth in new listings. While inventory levels are similar to levels reported last year, with less than 2 months of supply, conditions still favor the seller, placing further upward pressure on prices. The unadjusted November benchmark price reached $320,100 in November, a monthly gain of over 1% and a year-over-year gain of 18%. The year-to-date price gains have occurred across every district in the city, with some of the largest gains arising in the lower price points of Northeast and East districts, which is fairly common for all property types. So, apartments, crazy hot right now. Let's touch on this graph once more. I really like touching on this graph. It's just a very easy indicator. You can see that the red bar is the price point. Right from December of 2022, pricing has increased fairly dramatically month over month. That is a very straight line up. Very consistent price growth month over month. You can see that the sales and inventory stayed relatively the same all the way to the summer. August, something happened. I was a little nervous there. I thought pricing was going to absolutely explode when the sales and the inventory got very close to one another. But then September, October, November, it basically went back to a normal gap between sales and inventory, but the price point continued to increase. Now, pretty crazy stuff here. Real quick, December 2022, we also saw similar in a way of pricing absolutely smashing through the first half of the year. Then it started to stabilize right around that May, June. It was increasing a little bit, but the increase in interest rates really caused a slowdown in the market that people weren't really sure, so pricing didn't increase too much. And then inventory started to get tighter and tighter and tighter going right into December. And then this year, that is history. You can see how crazy it is. 2024, I'm pretty confident we're going to see another wild year. So this is the months of supply. This is a quick graph just indicating what's going on in the market. This just showcases how active the market is. You can see in 2018, 19, 20, there was about 7 months of supply, which was a lot of inventory for people to choose from. 2021 started getting tighter, 2022, and then 2023, it's very, very tight. I would imagine 2024 is going to be somewhat similar in the months of supply sector that we saw this year. So this is the next step into kind of breaking it down for your personal situation. This is every single quadrant. So we're just going to look at apartments, and you can see that the city center has over 2 months of supply, which is still a seller's market. It's obviously a little bit more balanced out, but everything else is under about a month and a half, with East seeing less than a half of month of supply, which means that there is a lot of movement, very fast movement in the East quadrant. There are basically activity anywhere you go in Calgary. If a listing comes on the market, it's priced well, it's probably going to get a lot of attention relatively fast, even in the city center, which has 2 months of supply. This is a really good indicator just to kind of prepare yourself of how active the quadrant is going to be if you're looking at it. As an example, City Center, it's got over 2 months. You might actually be able to look at a lot of older stuff that's been on the market for 30 days. Whereas East Calgary, just as an example, there's probably not a lot of leftover listings from 30, 60 days ago. A lot of them has probably been eaten up. So this is the benchmark price. Now this is, again, just a quick visual of what's going on for the condo apartments. We're just going to look at the apartment sector here. You can see that a lot of quadrants are very similar in price point. You can see that they're roughly averaging around $300,000. Even when you start to look at City Center, West, and Southeast, they all have roughly the same price point. But it's very important to start looking at the benchmark attributes. So again, we talk about the City Center, the West, and the East. You can clearly see that all of these have very different attributes. So even though the pricing is similar, it is very important to realize that you're going to get a very different product in those quadrants. So if you are looking at spending $300,000 on an apartment and you want certain attributes, an older, a newer, a better location, a not so great location, it's very important to put those attributes into play. So for my homeowners out there, for my investors out there, this is just a quick glimpse of year-over-year price growth. You can see that the East and Northeast saw the biggest price growth, that 30%, over 35%, followed by Northwest and South, and then North. This is very interesting for those who have assets, that have properties that are looking to increase and maybe capitalize on those opportunities. But even better, if you're actually looking at getting your own evaluation on your property and you don't want to reach out, but you just want a quick blurb about what's going on, feel free to put your property address into this software here. It is me and only me that looks at it. Yes, of course, I'll probably reach out, say hello, introduce myself, but if you're curious of what your apartment could be worth in this market, go ahead and plug it in. It is a very interesting, unique software where it'll spit out a home evaluation. If you want to dive into it a little bit more, I'm more than happy to do that. But if you're just curious, you're kicking tires, that's totally fine too. Put it in here. It's very interesting to see how much your condo has increased over the last 12 months. So this is now the microeconomic outlook. This is broken down into each individual quadrant itself. So these are the sales, the new listings, the sales to new listings ratio, the inventory, the months of supply, the benchmark price, the year-over-year price growth, and the month-over-month price growth. So you can see that the City Center obviously is dominating when it comes to new listings and sales. They have over 220 sales. The sales to new listing ratios averaging about 80%, but you can see places like Southeast and East seeing more sales than they did new listings, indicating that it's a very fast market. The inventory, or the amount of homes left over at the end of the month. When I said earlier that City Center has a lot of stuff that you could probably look back 30, 60 days, they have close to 500 listings left over at the end of the month, meaning that you have a lot of options in the City Center, possibly driving those leftover options prices down. Where if you look at East, there was only 8. So maybe those 8 are undesirable. Who knows? You got to dive into the individual quadrant to make sure that you have a good understanding of that. So I'm going to clear this now. This is the actual price points for increases. You can see that Calgary North saw a small decrease of $700, which is virtually nothing in real estate. Everything else saw increases over $2,000. I also indicated what happened last month. So as an example, Southeast last month saw a decrease of $1,400, but this month they saw an increase of $7,400. So even though they decreased last month, that greatly outweighed the decrease from last month. So interesting stuff here. Hopefully this helps you follow along with the quadrant of interest for you. Yes, we see some decreases like in Calgary North, but last month they saw an increase of $4,300. So it just kind of ate away a little bit at that increase from the month prior. So very interesting stuff. Again, if you're interested in something like this, it's very important to break it down even further into your community. So kind of feel like I'm rambling on here a little bit, so I do apologize. Where is the condo market going to go? I do not foresee the market slowing down anytime soon. I'm pretty confident that we're going to see another increase going into 2024, possibly into 2025, depending on some of the policies that are put into place, some of the economic indicators that are getting put into place, and how much decreases are going to come in the interest rate market. I'm pretty sure if we see any decreases, we're going to be more attractive to out-of-province buyers, people that are still in Calgary looking for product, yada, yada, yada. So very, very, very important to set up your game plan now and figure out what 2024 is going to look like for your personal situation. So I felt like I rambled on there a little bit today. I'm not really sure. Guess I'm feeling a little different. So if you have any questions, go ahead, make sure to reach out to me, comment below, let me know that you've made it. Thank you very much for all the support on this channel. If you want to see anything different, you want to see me talk about different stuff, go ahead, let me know. I'm all for the feedback. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.